Big round of applause.
As Sarah Desmond once wrote, don't think or judge, just listen. Found lying flat on the cold, unforgiving ground was the sniveling figure of a young 19-year-old named Ashley. Hurried over to the hospital, her body was probed, inspected, and photographed all over for traces of penetration, so that the evidence collected would be filed into a rape kit. She had been raped. However, Ashley decided not to bring this to court, afraid that no one would believe her. The existence of rape myths is largely responsible for her reluctance to bring her case to light. Imagine the loneliness and sadness Ashley felt at not being able to tell anyone what she's been through. We've all felt that way before, haven't we? Sad and lonely, I mean. But she's not alone. According to a 2014 White House Council on Women and Girls report, nearly 1 in 5 U.S. women have experienced rape or attempted rape in their lifetimes. It's the existence of rape myths that keeps women or men from reporting the rapes. Some of the rape myths include the misperception that most rape accusations are false, rapes are rare occurrences between strangers and victims, and that victims are at fault in some way for their rapes. Most rape accusations are false. False. In Stanford, Men Against Violence Group, also known as Men Against Abuse Now, stated that the FBI reported only 2% of rapes to be actually false, which is pretty much the same percentage reported for other crimes. This means that there is a higher likelihood for someone to claim a rape accusation as false than for other crimes, as you can see here. In other words, it is more believable for a woman to cry robbery than if she were to cry rape. Only 40% of rapes are actually reported to the police. One reason is that victims are afraid that they would be judged for their past actions, they would be humiliated for their sex histories, and they would be labeled negatively. 1 out of 2 claims actually gets to prosecution, so if a district attorney decides not to prosecute, it doesn't mean that it didn't happen. Equally important is another common rape myth. Rapes happen only between strangers and victims and are rare deviations from the norm. False. According to Solicitor Holly Hill's 2014 journal article from Victoria University of Wellington Law Review, most perpetrators actually know their victims. As stated by RAIN, the nation's largest anti-sexual violence organization, 90% of juvenile victims actually know their rapists. 59% of perpetrators were acquaintances, 34% were family members, and only 7% were actually strangers. Rare deviations from norm? According to Funk and Wagnall's New World Encyclopedia, the FBI stated that one forcible rape is reported to the police every 6 minutes on average. In the early 2010s, the widespread problem of sexual violence in the U.S. military and on U.S. college campuses was of national interest and anxiety. Obama's administration even started a campaign to raise public awareness about this issue in September of 2014. Last of all, a popular rape myth is victim blaming. Victims are asking for it when they drink a lot, wear sexy clothing, or fail to say no. False. As stated, what a victim does or dresses like has nothing to do with whether they consent to sexual activity. As stated in criminal law, rape is committing the deed of sexual intercourse with someone below the age of consent or without the agreement of the other person. As Hill says again, actions as simple as asking someone out for coffee or for drink may be perceived as a sign of consent. Not being able to say no is not equal to saying yes. According to a 2015 issue of Biofeedback by Kinsey Institute scientist Stephen Porges and biofeedback expert Eric Pepper, most victims are unable to say no to perpetrators due to how the perpetrator looks or the inability to do so physically. In conclusion, many rape myths are out there. So for any of us who think that most rape accusations are false, that rapes are rare occurrences between strangers and victims, and that victims are at fault in some way for their rapes, I call false. It's the prevalence of such rape myths that keeps women or men from reporting their rapes. With one last quote by Rifa, a girl in the 2013 study by Shahana Nazrin in the Journal of Current Issues in Crime Law and Law Enforcement, and most importantly, a 13-year-old raped by her stepmother, I shall end my speech. It is very difficult to sleep, as pain and fear of past memories always irritate me. Many nights I have spent remaining awake. Sometimes I wake up middle of the night and cannot go back to sleep again. Thank you.